Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Will. I'm going to just provide a little commentary of something that I learned from Marcus Guiliano yesterday, and I may start doing this on occasion, post-episode kind of commentary that you're welcome to skip if you prefer to hear from these owners and not from me, or you got what you needed out of them and you don't care what I think. I totally get that and I would understand. But there's always something that strikes a chord every time I interview a restaurant owner. This has been going on for 7 or 8 years now. I've been doing these interviews. There's always at least one thing that he or she says that really resonates with me, that I think is just kind of makes me stop and pause and think about it. And one thing that Marcus touched on yesterday was that if you haven't listened to the episode yet, give it a listen. It's a great interview. Marcus is awesome. He talked about how the first year when his restaurant was really slow and they were basically out of money, they didn't want to sacrifice what was important to them to try to keep the restaurant going. And what was important to he and his wife was to serve a kind of food that they believe in and that they're passionate about and they believe strongly is the right way to eat. So very natural, holistic, organic food. And he didn't want to sacrifice that. He didn't want to sacrifice the quality of anything that they did. That was just something he and his wife refused to do, was to make cuts or scale back. Now they did have to let some people go, but in terms of the product, they refused to compromise. And so what they had to do then is be creative. And there's that saying, necessity is the mother of all invention. And I think that's a great application of that, where he and his wife had to figure out, well, what do we do then if we're slow and we're not doing enough business and we've got really expensive, high cost food? What do we do? And what they decided to do was they got very creative with the way they marketed their business, and they got really good at just rolling up their sleeves and diving into it and being great with educating their customers. And as Marcus did, educating their customers in their small town and educating people in other areas of New York about why they should come to that town, why they should even live in that town. So he started thinking really big picture, like, I need my town to be successful if my restaurant's going to be successful. I also need people to understand the value and importance of paying a lot more for, let's say, a burger than they would anywhere else because of the quality of food that we're serving them and where that food comes from and why it's important to understand what we're putting in our bodies. So that really struck a chord with me. And Marcus talked about, and we've mentioned this before on others on the Schedule Fly blog, and Wes and I have a podcast, the Schedule Fly Story, where we've talked about this. But Marcus got into this a little bit, and it's such a true thing about decisions we make in life, especially when we're at a inflection point or a turning point, is, do we make decisions going forward out of fear or out of faith? And if you were to make decisions out of fear in this situation, you'd start cutting your costs. You'd start using cheaper products. You'd do everything you can to get your costs down because you're scared that if you don't, your business will fall. Where Marcus and his wife operated out of faith. We know that this is the right thing to do. We know we're onto something here. We believe we're going to make this work. It's just a matter of what adjustments do we make? How do we think creatively to help people see what we're doing and why we're doing it? And I just thought that was fantastic. So I really enjoyed that part. I enjoyed the whole interview. I thought it was really inspiring, and Marcus is just quite a character and clearly has done well for good reason. And I hope that you'll listen to that interview if you haven't yet. But anyway, I wanted to share that. I may start doing this, and hopefully it will add value to the podcast, not provide something that people don't care to listen to. So we'll see how that goes. But certainly wanted to just pass along some thoughts, and depending on what I get out of the interview, and if I think it's worth sharing, I'll certainly do that going forward. Thank you so much to all of you for listening to the podcast. Tell your friends about it, that are in the restaurant business or may want to be in the restaurant business. Share it, rate it on iTunes, And certainly let me know if you have any questions. Shoot me a note to support@schedulefly.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.